presidency from 1994 to 1999 was characterized by efforts to reconcile a divided nation, promote social justice, and combat poverty. He was a
Thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of iBrand Daybreak. My name is Uche Zoe, and of course, I'm not hanging out alone this morning. I am doing it this morning with Blessed.
Yeah, it's blessed. Omonu said it's so good to be here again. Quite unfortunate we didn't have the show on Friday, but hey, I'm so glad and I'm really happy that Zoe, the queen of the moment, the queen of your screen, is here. Like they will say, the baby fine. Now you know. It's so good to have you, Zoe. Good morning.
I like how you said now you know. Please say it again.
The baby fine. Now you know. Oh, she. It's so good to have you. Welcome back. I'm fine. How was the weekend?
It was great.
What were the activities that went down over the weekend for you?
Okay, so a lot of things have been trending, from the federal government holding back on the coastal highway that caused a lot of brouhaha.
Yeah.
It's still causing even more brouhaha.
Even though the president has already flagged off the construction of the highway, yeah, I'm still surprised that we're still having all the issues. I'm
really hoping that at some point, maybe before this week runs out, it's still Monday, we would actually get a headway on what is really going on, what they intend to do. Because you cannot make such bold statements, make such bold moves. Bringing out people's businesses. I have a friend, like somebody very close to me, whose business was affected because her outlet is inside Landmark.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Wow.
So this person has been out of job, and all members of his staff out of job, and you don't want to talk about the thousands of people that work for.
Sorry to butt in, Uche. The president's speech yesterday I actually watched, and the president said that 3,000 jobs more will be created with the construction of this highway.
Please.
So I'm wondering why we'll have to destroy to rebuild, or we have to destroy to recreate. I really don't know why.
I'm glad that you ended your statement with you're wondering why we have to destroy to build. Because if you're telling me 3,000 more jobs are going to be created, how do you intend to do that? You've never as much as given us any blueprints for anything that you've promised to do in the last 1 year plus. So how do you expect us to think that all of a sudden overnight you've come up with a very workable plan to get these things on the road? It's just beyond me, how this government continues to approach issues with a knee-jerk approach. It's very sad, and to think that these people just put it out there, no proper press release, nothing. We're just holding back on the coastal highway, like y'all can do whatever you want to do.
Let me help you with the words because I know you're trying to get it out.
Exactly.
But the truth is, it's quite unfortunate that we have a country where the civil society organizations have been shut up. Okay, so we don't have the voices of the ordinary people anymore. No one is coming out to fight for the ordinary masses. Take, for example, when the cybersecurity levy issue was introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, everyone from both the private and public sector actually came all out and they fought with one voice against it. What happened? The same issue has been rested. So I believe if we have the same voice, the same mindset, everybody coming out to fight for the same cause, definitely we're going to wake up as a nation.
Blessed. This conversation about civil society organizations is a whole kettle of fish. If we start to unpack it right now, we probably will not be able to talk about anything else.
Definitely, that's the truth. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get the opportunity to talk about it. I would have also loved to talk about the conversation between Wole Soyinka and His Excellency Peter Obi. But of course, as the show proceeds, we'll probably get the opportunity to delve into that.
Yeah.
But this is how we bring it to you this beautiful Monday morning on iBrand Daybreak. When we return, we'll be bringing you top stories. Stay with us.
Without doubt, you have used several cooking oils before, but one thing is sure, you have never experienced true soya oil. This is not your regular cooking oil. It is a cooking oil with soul. From our quality ingredient selection to blending, extraction and packaging, we took time to think about your health. Besides giving you a delicious experience, True Soya Oil boosts your immune system, aids your digestive health, and improves your overall well-being. For inquiries, mouth-watering recipes, and more, connect with us on social media. True Soya Oil. Make the choice that keeps you and your loved ones healthy.
Michael Adeniyi Agbola Ishola Adenuga Jr. is a Nigerian billionaire, businessman, philanthropist, and the sixth richest person in Africa. Born 29 April 1953, his company Globalcom is Nigeria's second largest telecom operator and also has a presence in Ghana and Benin. He owns stakes in the Equatorial Trust Bank and the oil exploration firm Conoil, formerly Consolidated Oil Company. Adenuga got an MBA at Pace University in New York, supporting himself as a student by working as a taxi driver. He made his first million at age 26 selling laced and distributing soft drinks. He was issued a conditional GSM license in 1999 after it was revoked. He received a second one when the government held another auction in 2003. Mike Adenuga is married to Titi Joyce Adenuga. The couple has a daughter from the marriage named Bella. Mike Adenuga is worth $6.1 billion according to Forbes.
Welcome back, and here are the top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway will give 30 million people improved access to production and marketing centers. Tinubu disclosed this in his remarks on Sunday in Lagos during the flag-off of the 700 kilometers Lagos-Calabar Highway project and several others to commemorate his first year in office. Last Thursday, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, disclosed that 750 houses that are on the path of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway have been marked for demolition. However, relevant stakeholders have voiced complaints arguing that the compensation did not match the investment made. Responding to the criticism on Sunday, the president further appealed for the understanding of the general public, particularly those whose properties and means of livelihood would be affected by this landmark project. And supporters of Aminu Bayero, the recently deposed Emir of Kano, have taken to the streets of the 5 Emirates, Bichi, Rano, Karaye, Kano and Gaya, to protest his dethronement. The demonstrations come after Kano Governor Abba Yusuf signed a new law repealing the Emirate Council Law 2019, which had divided the Kano Emirate into 5 jurisdictions and led to the dethronement of Mohammed Sanusi in 2020. Sanusi was reinstated as the 16th Emir of Kano on Friday in a colorful ceremony at the government house and has since taken up residence in the palace. Meanwhile, Bayeros returned to Kano on Saturday and moved into a palace in Nasarawa local government area, only to be ordered arrest by the governor. Protesters carrying banners and placards with various inscriptions are demanding Bayero's reinstatement and chanting anti-government slogans. They allege that the emirship tussle is politically motivated and aimed at undermining the traditional institution. The protests have added to the tension in the region, with many fearing a further escalation of the situation. The developments have also sparked concerns about the potential for political instability and the impact on the traditional hierarchies in the state. And the leadership of the Church of Christ in Nations, COCIN, has tasked Christians, especially those holding political positions, to see their political platforms as a unique mission field and portray the light of Christ in their daily living. The GCC laments the incessant killings, human trafficking, rape, kidnappings, and attacks by terrorists in various communities across the nation, and urges governments to provide more interventions that will alleviate the suffering and bring succor to Nigerians. The church further called on the government at all levels to step up their security strategies and revisit the issues affecting the displaced persons and farmers as a result of terrorist attacks, to enable them return to their ancestral lands, some of which have been taken over by marauders, and also provide solution to the economic hardship in the country. And that's all we have for you on Top Stories. When we return, we'll bring you more trending stories on the newspaper review. Stay with us.
Without doubt, you have used several cooking oils before, but one thing is sure, you have never experienced true soya oil. This is not your regular cooking oil, it is a cooking oil with soul. From our quality ingredients selection to blending, extraction and packaging, we took time to think about your health. Besides giving you a delicious experience, true soya oil boosts your immune system, aids your digestive health, and improves your overall well-being. For inquiries, mouth-watering recipes, and more, connect with us on social media. True soya oil. Make the choice that keeps you and your loved ones healthy.
Hypertension. Hypertension is a major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, and prevalence rates are critical to understanding the burden and envisaging health service requirement and resource allocation. The number of Nigerians living with high blood pressure is estimated at about 56 million, even as the World Health Organization (WHO) calls for intensified effort to prevent and control hypertension. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), globally, more than 1 billion people are known to have hypertension, and the figure is estimated to increase to 1.5 billion by 2025. In Nigeria, the prevalence of hypertension is at 32.8%, while meta-analytical study published recently estimated the countrywide prevalence to be between 12.4 and 34.8%. The disturbing reality of these statistics is that between a staggering 20.08 million and 56.37 million Nigerian citizens are hypertensive. The prevalence of hypertension is also increasing globally. In 2000, 972 million people had hypertension with a prevalence rate of 26.4%. These are projected to increase to 1.54 billion affected individuals and a prevalence rate of 29.2% in 2025. Incidence rates of hypertension range from 3 to 18% depending on the age, gender, ethnicity, and body size of the population studied. In Nigeria, more than 7.5 million deaths are attributed to the condition, about 12.8% of all deaths. These account for 57 million disability-adjusted life years, which accounted for about 3.7%.
Without doubt, you have used several cooking oils before, but one thing is sure, you have never experienced true soya oil. This is not your regular cooking oil, it is a cooking oil with soul. From our quality ingredients selection to blending, extraction and packaging, we took time to think about your health. Besides giving you a delicious experience, true soya oil boosts your immune system, aids your digestive health, and improves your overall well-being. For inquiries, mouth-watering recipes, and more, connect with us on social media. True soya oil. Make the choice that keeps you and your loved ones healthy.
Hypertension. Hypertension is a major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, and prevalence rates are critical to understanding the burden and envisaging health service requirement and resource allocation. The number of Nigerians living with high blood pressure is estimated at about 56 million, even as the World Health Organization (WHO) calls for intensified effort to prevent and control hypertension. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), globally, more than 1 billion people are known to have hypertension, and the figure is estimated to increase to 1.5 billion by 2025. In Nigeria, the prevalence of hypertension is at 32.8%, while meta-analytical study published recently estimated the countrywide prevalence to be between 12.4 and 34.8%.
And you're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Today is the 27th of May, and of course, on this day every year, it is set aside to celebrate the Nigerian child. The event serves to raise awareness on issues that affect the child and enables the society to appreciate the often forgotten reality that children are indeed the future. As the nation marks the event, it is important to call to mind the plight of Nigerian children, the challenges they face, and how helpless the society has become in response to this, and their seeming inability to create the right environment needed to be the children they truly are. This year's theme is investing in our future. means investing in our children. And to have this conversation with us this morning is Chizoba Akunne. She is the Executive Director, Center for Individual and Child Development. Good morning, Zoba. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Uche. It's nice being here again.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
And of course, today you are in your prime space because we're going to be talking about children and the rights of children. Please, for the sake of this conversation, I'm also a child.
Okay, we are all children.
We're all children.
We're
yeah.
all children.
I don't know.
Blessed is a child too.
I almost took the day off, but unfortunately my producer would not grant me the day
Why
off.
will you take the day
I
off?
really needed to celebrate myself. Yesterday I spoke with my mom and she was still calling me a baby.
Oh.
So I'm still a baby. So I think I should be celebrated. So happy Children's Day to me.
Right now we're all speechless.
But let's take it to the reason that we're here today. Children's Day. Children in Nigeria over the years have faced a lot of challenges. I was watching a video yesterday on social media. Of course, people are all over the world, all over the country, already celebrating, and a lot of events happened yesterday in. While waiting for today to finally happen. And one of the speakers was saying that an average child in Nigeria is neglected. I mean, even the ones you think have all it takes to not be neglected. They have parents who have the wherewithal to send them to good schools, take care of them, provide a very enabling environment for them. But to an extent, one way or another, they are neglected. And, you raised a lot of questions in the comments section. I want us to start from that place. Do you agree with that school of thought?
Yes, I'll say a lot of children are neglected. Yes, the Child Rights Act covers, certain parameters which we tick to say, okay, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, we've done that. But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to wounds, when it comes to trauma, a lot of children go to trauma and they have childhood wounds. So, like, a parent could have everything, they could have the wherewithal, but if they are not available, right, to take care of the child, then you find out that that child suffers abandonment wound, which, if not treated, would lead to trauma. And then there's also neglect wound. So the parents could be available but not present. Right, and that's taking it down to that conversation that you said you read yesterday, right? So it's not just about providing; it's not just about putting a roof over a child's head and giving them the basic food, sending them to a good school and all. But it's the presence. You're being present. I always say that children do not remember the amount of, can you remember any of your school fees, how much it was? I'm sure it's only maybe university school fees that you can remember. So children don't remember how much the school fees cost. They don't remember a lot of things. Even though I know that, yes, right now we have children that are pressured about, going for summer because of their environment, right? But basically, a child remembers how you made them feel. Yeah. They remembered what you did with them.
How you said to them.
They remembered what you said to them. So those things are very important. And these are the investments that are not monetary. Because I always say that you see families that are below the poverty line and you see them having this connection. And you see some of them not having the connection. And you see that even in families that are living above the poverty line, right? So it's your being present in a child's life. It's your being up there. Listen to them. Don't shut them down when they're speaking. Hear them out. Like, yesterday was amazing because, there were some topics that were in my mind and I just wanted to know what children feel about it. And you would be amazed. In fact, I was amazed at some of the responses I was getting. And I was, I just started laughing. And I was like, are you guys serious? Like, all of you sitting here, this is really what has been going through your mind. And someone else who I was with said, you really have time. And I thought about it. It's not that I have time. It's just that I asked myself, okay, how many minutes, how many hours do I have to spend with these children? So let me make it count.
That's what that matters.
Let me make it count.
All right, let's talk about poverty and the role it plays. You took the word off of my mind when you mentioned families who live below the poverty line, families who live above the poverty line, but you see some similarities when it comes to family dynamics with these persons. And you know, in my earlier submission, I mentioned how that even children who seem to have all it takes to thrive also go through these issues, and you find out that poverty plays a lot of role in how society generally affects an average individual. Let's talk about these helpless young ones who depend on guardians, parents, older siblings to cater to them, take care of them, or take care of some things. Now, data says that 70% of the Nigerian population are actually living in poverty. So you see that there's a lot of disparity. The gap is too much. And then a good percentage of the Nigerian population comprised of young persons and children, the youth and children. With that in mind, that means we have a lot of children in our hands. You don't want to start talking about out-of-school children, children who go through abuse, several levels and types of abuse. And all these are under the umbrella of poverty, because then people are not able to handle stuff, take care of stuff, or speak up about stuff. How do we begin to solve these issues, especially as it regards children?
Okay, so when you talk about poverty, the first thing I have noticed, and when you talk about the population boom as it relates to the youth and the children, is that we have more youths, more teenagers becoming parents, right? And it usually happens around families that are living below the poverty line. And it's a lot of factors. Sometimes they can go to school, right? And because they can't go to school, they resort to becoming maybe touts, street urchins, you know, so they have to do that to fend for themselves. And then also don't forget that the parents, since they were both teenage parents, right, they are both not married, so maybe they are both living with their parents. And so you have situations whereby a child can have 4 siblings and 4 different fathers with the same mother. So there's some things we cannot control, but what we can do is that, number one, create safe spaces in schools. And that is one of the things that we've been able to do in Center for Individual and Child Development, and that's what we're currently doing in Education District 2, where we're raising zero violence ambassadors, trying to create safe spaces in school where they could come, share and speak with us. Now, I would not say that I'm not aware that they are going through violent situations. I'm not aware that they are financially abused, they are physically abused, they are, in fact, when you talk about all levels of abuse, verbal abuse, they all face it. But what we can do in our own little corners, because we can't leave everything for the government, is that, number one, step in, mentor a child, go into communities, you know, just sit with them, talk with them, have a girls and mentor program. There's so many things you could do, right? And then minus that, you could also have programs for the parents in the communities, go through the traditional leaders, you know, sit with them, you know, try to talk with them, do parenting, like parenting classes that I know that, yes, some parents who are above the poverty line, they go for parenting classes. And this is something that we should take into the communities. Now, don't go there to judge the parents, because the truth is you do not know their story. And their story is valid to them because they are seeing through the lens of that story, right? So create better parents, invest in the parents, have parenting classes, make them understand that, see, this is the repercussions, because when they are doing some things at times they don't understand the full repercussions of what they're doing. And then make them understand that it doesn't matter where you're starting from, what matters is where you're going to, where do you see yourself later. This thing, you can be comfortable. We're not talking about being extremely rich, right? And then show love and care. One thing I found out is this: when you go to people, when you go to children, you go to parents in the community, you do not judge them, because they are reading your body language, they are reading your words. You do not judge them. You're telling them, I understand that I may not have gone through your situation, but I understand that it's not easy for you. Be empathetic towards them, and then begin to one-on-one effect those changes. You'll find out that you have a multiplier effect. Because if not, we'll just keep talking about, okay, the Child Rights Act, it has been domiciled in some states. okay, what about the other states that are not being that is not domiciled in? But what about those states that it's already domiciled in? What about our own community? What are we doing to ensure that these children are shielded from abuse? And so it's a one-on-one thing. It's us stepping in, going to the parents, talking with them. Yes, sometimes you may have to provide financial support. You may have to say, okay, I will put your children through school. I would provide this, right? And then I would have to come and check up. See, I think when our parents were growing up, our grandparents were growing up, maybe not our parents, maybe our grandparents, our great-grandparents, I think what helped them that abuse was minimal, even though it was in existence, was the fact that it was a communal thing. So everybody was interested in everybody's business. And so another thing we have to do is break down boundaries, all these invisible boundaries that we are putting. We are Africans. We are not...
We're communal people.
Yes, we're Africans. That's who we are. And really, going back to our communal living, it's the only way that I think we can tackle this effectively, because this is an advantage we have. And if we do not step in now to begin to say, okay, how do we effect this change? What are we doing? How can I, give my own little help in this particular community? You find out that little by little, we are solving this issue one child at a time, and then this circle of violence, we are chipping at it until it gets broken, and then we have a leeway into helping more children and stopping this thing finally.
All right then. So I want to take you up on two questions specifically now. First off, I want to go back to what you made mention earlier when you were responding to, which is first question. So something struck me, and I was asking myself this question. I also needed to buttress on that. In a situation whereby you did make mention of the fact that some parents are actually available, but they are not giving their children the necessary and the needed attention that they need. But in a situation whereby everybody's trying by the current economic situation now, every parent is trying their best to see how they can fend for their family, give their children the best that they think their children deserve. How do we create, because I learned there's no longer the work-life balance anymore. So it's now, so how do parents integrate that work-life balance in a way by they put their children as a priority, and then at the same time they don't lose focus or get distracted from fending for the home? That's one. And then the second question I want to ask you is, talking about the Nigerian child's law, is it necessary for every child to know about the Nigerian child law? And if yes, at what age and at what point should we start educating the children? And how do we also start educating parents about the Nigerian child law?
All right, thank you so much, Blessed, for your two questions. All right, so first of all, I want to say that to your first question, I know that yes, there is no more work-life balance, right? But you could create time. So let me give you some little tips. For example, you come back from work. When you come back from work, and I do this deliberately, stay outside and try to get your head into, I am not in the office space anymore. I'm not in the traffic space anymore. I am home. By the time you decompress, you step in. Maybe one or two of your children would have been awake, waiting for you to come back. And then you just come back to say, oh, I missed you today. How was your day? And children are always empathetic. They'll always ask you, how was your day? What happened today? Now, you may not be able to talk so much, but you can tell them that I'm tired right now. I had a long day. I really want to have a conversation with you, but can we have this conversation maybe on Saturday? Or is there any pressing thing that you want to talk with me about? Now, when a child, when you explain to a child, and the issue is that we don't talk to children, we talk over them. That's the issue. When you explain to a child and the child understands that, oh, you're really tired and what the child will do is, okay, so if there's a pressing issue, the child talks to you about it and then you answer. Then when you notice that there is, because your children would always be different, there would always be one child that the way I describe the child is, you know those very deep wells.
Yeah.
Very deep ones.
Yeah.
You take a fetcher, you throw it into the well,
and it keeps
and
going
then you keep
down and
throwing
down
it down into the well.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're pulling it out, you're only coming out with a little bucket of water. You have to throw it back. So some children are like that. When you have that kind of child, what you do is you create space to sit down and talk with your child. Give your child days that, I know that parents will say it's not possible, but I want to tell you that it is possible. This is an investment that you would reap and keep reaping and keep reaping
till
the day you die. Like, it's a serious investment. So sit down, have days for your children. Have a day for this person. You don't have to spend so much money. See, you can just Netflix on your phone or download, just go to YouTube, stream a cartoon or a movie.
And watch it together. Buy
popcorn. Or pop it in the house, or get biscuits. The biscuit you eat that day is not what's going to add to your cholesterol level or whatever. And drink. Just today is your day. 2 of us, we sit and we watch a movie, and then we gist. 2 hours. That child will, even if it's one time you did it, do you know that child will always be talking about it? My dad, we have movie dates. You don't be wondering that which one is the movie date. Have dates for your children. And then apart from that, you don't have to. Mannequins that those days when they have figurines that you used to decorate your house. The children are not figurines to put on the shelf to decorate their. So when people come and they say what's going on. Okay.
Quickly, because of time, let's get to Child Rights Act. Yeah.
Now the Child Rights Act also. From the time a child can walk, unconsciously, we have already started telling them about the Child Rights Act.
Okay.
Songs that will teach them about preserving their body. That's protecting them against sexual harassment, exploitation, and all. So yes, we've started doing that, but there are more that we need to do. We need to go further from that to begin to explain to them that these are your rights, this is your right. And then also we need to go into communities. We need to have forums for parents where we teach them that this is the right of the child. Now, the reason why a lot of people want to go into it is that by the time you start, you find out that even the parents were abused. And at that moment, you find out that they begin to even have traumatic inclinations. So how then do you manage the parents? So
it's a vicious cycle.
So it's a vicious cycle. So that's why it's important that you say, okay, we want to start talking to the parents about it. These are our backup plans. These are our support groups. These are our safe spaces, our walk-in spaces where parents who they just suddenly realize that they've been abused and they want to break out of it, they can go here and talk to people, right? And so when you put all these things in place, these are really investments that we can do, and they translate even to our economy. It translates beyond what we are saying. It's the little things really that matter.
Okay, Children's Day celebrations, the days marked to celebrate children, especially Nigerians living in Nigeria, is usually very emotional for me personally, because to a great extent I've worked with children, and believe me, the stories are not nice. You understand? So I feel like 27 May every year is actually not enough to deal with the issues as it pertains to children. But I mean, we keep doing the much that we can. So this is the point where I say thank you so much, Isabel, for coming on the show. Hopefully, before the year runs out, we'll get more opportunity, more specials. I choose to call it in the plural because, like I said, it's never enough time. We need to keep hammering on these issues because at the end of the day, you have no idea how much it affects the entire nation. Just like you said, runs down to the economy, to the society general, and all that and all that. Once again, thank you so much, Zoba.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your time. It is still iBrand Daybreak Children's Day special. 27th May. I am somebody's child, so wish me a happy Children's Day. when we return, it will be time to go to the town square for social media buzz. Stay with us.
Without doubt, you have used several cooking oils before, but one thing is sure, you have never experienced true soya oil. This is not your regular cooking oil, it is a cooking oil with soul. From our quality ingredients selection to blending, extraction and packaging, we took time to think about your health. Besides giving you a delicious experience, true soya oil boosts your immune system, aids your digestive health, and improves your overall well-being. For inquiries, mouth-watering recipes, and more, connect with us on social media. True soya oil. Make the choice that keeps you and your loved ones healthy.
Hypertension. Hypertension is a major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, and prevalence rates are critical to understanding the burden and envisaging health service requirement and resource allocation. The number of Nigerians living with high blood pressure is estimated at about 56 million, even as the World Health Organization (WHO) calls for intensified effort to prevent and control hypertension. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), globally, more than 1 billion people are known to have hypertension, and the figure is estimated to increase to 1.5 billion by 2025. In Nigeria, the prevalence of hypertension is at 32.8%, while meta-analytical study published recently estimated the countrywide prevalence to be between 12.4 and 34.8%. The disturbing reality of these statistics is that between a staggering 20.08 million and 56.37 million Nigerian citizens are hypertensive. The prevalence of hypertension is also increasing globally. In 2000, 972 million people had hypertension with a prevalence rate of 26.4%. These are projected to increase to 1.54 billion affected individuals and a prevalence rate of 29.2% in 2025. Incidence rates of hypertension range from 3 to 18% depending on the age, gender, ethnicity, and body size of the population studied. In Nigeria, more than 7.5 million deaths are attributed to the condition, about 12.8% of all deaths. These account for 57 million disability-adjusted life years, which accounted for about 3.7%.
Without doubt, you have used several cooking oils before, but one thing is sure, you have never experienced true soya oil. This is not your regular cooking oil, it is a cooking oil with soul. From our quality ingredient selection to blending, extraction and packaging, we took time to think about your health. Besides giving you a delicious experience, true soya oil boosts your immune system, aids your digestive health, and improves your overall well-being. For inquiries, mouth-watering recipes, and more, connect with us on social media. True soya oil. Make the choice that keeps you and your loved ones healthy.
Hypertension. Hypertension is a major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, and prevalence rates are critical to understanding the burden and envisaging health service requirement and resource allocation. The number of Nigerians living with high blood pressure is estimated at about 56 million, even as the World Health Organization (WHO) calls for intensified effort to prevent and
Thank you so much for staying with us. It is still iBrand Daybreak, and it used to be somebody's favorite segment, but of course, we move. When they say soldier come, soldier go, barrack will remain. That is the situation that we're having to deal with right now. But it's this social media buzz, and we have the delectable, amiable, very peaceful, loving, kind, black don't crack queen, Debbie So. Hi, Debbie. Good morning.
Before I answer you, like I always say, the babe fine. Now you don't know. The babe says, now you don't know.
So last week Monday, when Blessed actually introduced me, I used to think that you actually do it better. But girl, Blessed does it better. I could not speak for 15 minutes. I'm not exaggerating.
You were shocked.
I was shook. It's an understatement. I was shook
To your roots.
Hi, Uche.
Hello.
How was your vacation?
Vacation.
Yes, now.
Vacation.
When was the last time you saw Uche?
It's been over 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Wait,
Uche has actually
wait,
been to
wait.
7 countries.
In
Wait.
just 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks.
You can imagine.
7 countries.
And some people will come and tell us that Nigeria is hard.
Do you understand?
There is God.
From your mouth to God's ears. God, you've heard it. They said I want to
Now so. Nadia way.
See,
Because-
they go talk. They government no come increase their tax. Especially their VAT.
I need to give a testimony.
All right.
Because they gathered. But you know what the Bible said? Surely they must gather. But if they're not gathering in the name of the Lord,
They will come
what?
to naught. They will scatter. Okay. Because we are pressed with time, it's good to have you on this side, Blessed.
It's good to be
I
here.
was one on the other side the other day, so it's good to be in my right position. So we're going to skip the first story.
In your
So
right
press the
position.
time. Yes, my right position. You know, my right position.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
All right. So, Paul Okoye and his pregnant girlfriend.
Jesus. Did you have
wife
to
now,
say it that way?
Pregnant wife now, although she's yet to actually, let us know if she's
Sorry,
pregnant or not.
Debbie, you
I
and
know she's not, it's not in our place, but as a social media member that we have, pregnant wife, accept it. Or
I
leave it.
cannot believe you right now.
Pregnant wife got married traditionally over the weekend in
yes.
her hometown in Abia State.
Hooray.
Yes, it actually sounds like, it's actually a good news, but a tweet caught my attention, and the tweet reads, everyone really thought she was going to be smart enough to chop and clean out. A 25-year-old with a 40-plus divorced man with kids that can't even give you and your family the courtesy of dropping his phone for a few moments. Godspeed, darling. Let's take a look at some of the reaction. Now, the reaction
For that
to
tweet.
the tweets, yes,
Okay.
and not to the marriage. Now, the first reaction said, you all said worse things when Regina married Ned. I just laughed at many of you all, because you know they touch grass at all. A Nigerian girl will leave a billionaire to date her age mate. I they laugh you now, I swear. Even you wait tweet this nonsense won't take your own advice if you were Another reaction. The funny thing is, she'll be happier than some people who find solace in this post to console their miserable lives. There's no manual for this stuff, I beg. Another reaction. She's 23, oh. I really thought she was smart. Chop, build a brand, clean mouth, and move on. Man left his previous wife. LOL. Bold of her to think he won't also leave her. He doesn't even look interested in what's going on. Another reaction. Rookie mistake, don't get pregnant. He has kids already. Don't get married. He's just coming out from a long marriage and freedom still the sweet am. Relationship is sweet until marriage and kids responsibility enter. Now you understand the ex-wife better because you're about to wear her once beautiful shoes. Boyfriend, no be husband or father. Very difficult, serious roles. And the final reaction. Notice how it's her fellow women who are attacking her the most. LMAO, this gender. How about you just let her do what she likes? So you think you are smart, you are the smarter one here. Uche. Anytime I call her like this, she's always behind me. So do you agree with the tweet? No, we are not focusing on the fact that he got married to her. We are focusing on this tweet from Rihanna. So do you think she would have just chopped and clean out? Because she's young.
I'm not a fan of chop and clean out.
She'd have just kept it on the relationship status, not, allowing it lead to marriage.
Please, why do people date?
Experience?
That's a big question.
People date for experience. Not everybody dates for marriage, oh. Not everybody dates for marriage.
See. Wait,
yes, people actually date for experience.
Chill. First of all,
kind of experience?
I'd like to address
what
something.
It feels like to be in a relationship.
Oh, am I the person that is reacting, or you people?
Yeah, react.
Okay,
Sorry,
right.
Okay, good. Let me start by addressing something that somebody said in the reaction. The person said, a man that left his wife, bold of her to think he's not going to. Please, let us come correct. He did not leave his wife left him. Number one.
Did you know what they put in the press that you saw? At least their house.
This person that made this tweet, is he in their house?
I don't know.
All of us are working with what we saw on the press.
Right.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. That is point number one. Point number two. I asked the question initially, why do people date? And I'm asking that question away from the wokeness of this generation, away from the Gen Z, whatever analogies that they've come up with to, what I just call it watered down relationships and marriages and family, right? Away from all that analogy, all that analysis, all that wokeness. Why really do people date? People date to make families. People date to get married. That is what it is supposed to be. And I'm saying traditionally, from being Africans, and for whatever religion that you practice, even as a Muslim, as a Christian, as whatever, people get together, they get to know each other. That's why from home where we're from in the East, you see the girl going to the guy's house to help the mom. The guy comes to help the girl's father in the farm, because they're trying to get to know each other, because they're going to be building a family. That is why it is found that when you catch these young people under Odara trees, when they're supposed to be making it known to everybody.
Coitus.
Exactly. Coinalingus.
Coinalingus.
Thank you. So why do people date? I have a problem, and it shows how much the mindsets have deteriorated. When people are saying chop and clean mouth, why did you get pregnant? I have a problem with, of course, getting pregnant out of marriage. That is another kettle of fish. But if you got pregnant for somebody who is responsible enough to take responsibility and took you home to meet your father, I think that's a plus.
Okay.
I also have a problem with Mr. Rude Boy pressing his phone during such a serious matter. Wait.
Okay.
It is rude. Let us call it what it is.
What's his name?
What's his name?
What is his name now?
Makes sense. I mean, don't leave me. Don't leave me. I understand. Away from the stage name thing.
Yeah.
Actually, pressing your phone when such a serious matter is going on was rude. It's wrong.
There are different sides to things.
However, However.
Okay, I'll let you land.
However.
In 2 seconds.
However.
Okay,
Can I land my
Go
line?
ahead.
I feel like netizens need to rest.
Okay.
They should leave Ivy alone.
Okay.
Yes. Whatever she starts seeing inside them, my mom will say, "Why As a woman, you will see what your fellow woman have seen. Allow her to see it by herself."
All right. Uche, blessed, please.
So this is my
Your
point
reaction.
here. So this is my point. First and foremost, if I wasn't there, like
none of us were.
It's good. So what we are reacting was based on the pictures that we saw online. So if I'm to give my own perception to the picture I saw online, it was just a selfie. So we're having a conversation now, and then you are like, "Oh guys, let's have a selfie," and I'm doing something serious with my phone. I'm perhaps just talking with a business consultant.
Yeah.
And then
business consultants.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say, telling the person bringing the palm wine where to land, because the Uber is.
Uche, let's land now.
Wait, let me land. Let me land. So it was a selfie. So why should I be so all interested in a selfie? Okay, if I have something busy I'm doing, I'll just give it just a second and attention, which he did in subsequent pictures.
Was that really a selfie?
Yes, it was a selfie. If you look at
to
it
me,
critically.
it looked. No, I think what he's trying to say, it looked more like they wanted to take pictures with Ivy.
Oh, it wasn't with him.
Yes, it wasn't with him. When I saw that, that was how I interpreted it.
Okay.
That they wanted to
So
take
we have
picture with
interpretation
the woman.
to it.
Not
Okay,
really,
but at
we
the end
all
of the
know
day, long and
he's
short of
crazy
this,
in love with this girl.
Thank you. That's what I
We
wanted
all
to say.
know,
That's what I wanted to
even
say.
before they came public, he had already written a song for her.
Yeah.
That song came before Informer.
No. You actually you said it now.
There's another one.
There's another Informer now.
Another Informer
Yes,
song.
now.
Wow.
They're
They're going to
now.
stream it.
And then we also heard on even this Twitter streets that the whole reason with me was one way or the other talking about this particular lady as well. Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Those days in Gwagwalada.
Because those days in
How many
Gwagwalada.
years ago was that?
It's still Twitter street. So
I was
right.
just 23. Dikon. When was Gwagwalada and
So as
Uni
far as I'm
Abuja?
concerned, the lady that said she should just chop and clean out, I don't think there's any sense in that.
There's no sense
She's
in
a
it.
lady. She's a mature lady. She's an adult. She have every right to decide what she wants to do with her life.
Yes.
In this case, this is a responsible man, like you rightly said. So I've made up my mind to be with him. Whether it's divorced or not, I've made up my mind to be with him.
And mind you,
so whether or not you people expect me to chop and clean out because I'm young, it's baseless.
doesn't make any sense.
Of course not.
Doesn't make any sense. You know,
So,
before
it's good not to
Debbie
have.
said it, I was going to say, having seen Ivy and the P Square guy, right, on the streets of Instagram, because that's where we used to see them, and we know the chaff from the grains. I think, in my own opinion, they are the grains. They look so good together. They work together. You can tell.
But someone said something that boyfriend different from husband.
That is general. That is actually.
That's where you now see.
That's actually standard practice.
Husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend.
Even girlfriend may be wife.
Everybody
Wife may be
actually
girlfriend.
have, you really can't know the person that you're actually going to any commitment with.
Until you all start living together.
You know, open IBRAND store for all the best.
How did you know he's the one that opened it?
He's the one, because he actually, is it not me? You all are
coming from
Somebody ask you a question.
So, the question for last week, we went to the street of Lagos to ask people what they think. And the question was, do you think a man, as a husband, has the right to, to reject or accept a cesarean section done on his wife? And what prompted that question was because of a tweet that surfaced last week. A lady came out crying for help that her husband has refused to sign for her to be operated on, even while she's actually in labor. And we then found out that a husband has to consent before they operate on the wife. Now, do you think it is actually right for a husband to determine whether, the child and the mother gets to live? Let's take a look at some of the reactions on the street.
For the fact that he married a man does not mean he have right over the woman for everything. A woman have right over himself. So for a man, you can't just say automatically that this is what's happened over your wife. No. A woman have his own right to say, okay, I want to take this, I don't want to take this.
some women cannot afford to go through stress of labor. So that's why I prefer operation, because she will deliver quick through operation and it will not go through much stress.
Depend on the woman's life. That's what they are talking about. A cesarean section can either be bad or good. It can have good and bad effect on the woman. So the woman owns her body and she has the right to her own decision.
In that sense, he might not have the right to say he rejects cesarean operation for the wife, except both agreed. But if she's unconscious, the doctor will use their discretion to operate the woman. But say the man can stand out and say no, that they must not carry out operation on the wife. I don't think I don't think he has the right. He has no right over the wife to that extent, because it's a matter of life and death.
The man doesn't have the right to reject it, because the woman is the one carrying the womb, and she's the one that understands the way she feels. So if the man now wants to reject it, I don't think it's the right thing. I think it has to do with the agreement between himself and the wife. So both of them have to agree, not the man taking the decision independently. It has to be an arrangement between himself and the wife. So both of them must agree. So for you to say that the man has to agree independently, I don't think is the right thing.
One can decide what he or she wants for herself or for himself. So a man have a good right. A man have, let me say, 100% right to say, I don't want this operation to be done.
He has the right to reject it as the husband of the family or as the head of the family, but it is not right, so to say, to reject it, especially when it has something to do with the issue of life and death.
Some will accept it while thinking that it's going to save his wife and the child, and some will not want it because it involves a whole lot of money and being scared in a country that they might not do it very well. So it's of different opinion.
So you've heard what the streets of Lagos have to say. Now, Uche, how do you react to this?
I feel like
in 10 minutes. Because you like to travel.
10 minutes.
10 seconds. Oh, Jesus Christ. 10 seconds.
And now you're using it to my seconds.
10 seconds.
However, you know, as time, I usually say that time is a revealer of all things. Yeah. There are practices that happened in the past that should remain in the past. While I agree that the man has a say in what happens to his wife, especially in such a critical situation, because if anything happens to her, he takes responsibility for that. So while I agree that the man should sign, but can we have these conversations earlier on, when it hasn't become drastic, when it hasn't become like a life or death situation? Say six or 7 months into the pregnancy.
Sorry, baby. What? I said baby. So what if the life of death situation
please don't debunk
happened on the day of delivery?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So because we've had a lot of situations like this happen. I mean, we read it on social media, we read it on the news. Women have lost their lives because they have men who weren't able to decide on time. We have men who actually couldn't care less. I mean, there are several situations, several sides to several stories. Exactly. There are several things that can come up. My opinion is, before we get to that point where somebody is about to lose their life or lose the baby or lose the woman, can we have these conversations earlier on in the pregnancy, say 6 or 7 months into it, have a meeting with the man and his wife.
So you believe
if situations like this
have a right
yes, because he is the covering that she has.
Do you agree, Blessing?
Honestly, I have 10 seconds, and in the 10 seconds that I have, I would say I agree to everything that Uche said, because the truth is, it is better we have the conversation even before going into that marital relationship, than to be faced with this situation. It's a life and death situation. Now to be faced with it, and one man is now flaunting muscle and saying I will not sign,
or even being indecisive, because
most times I've seen situations whereby it is based on religious reason. In our church, it is out of our faith, it's out of our belief. We won't do this. We'll call the blood of Jesus.
Hebrew woman.
Yes, she's an Hebrew woman. She delivered like an Hebrew woman. Yes. When my wife, if I have the time, when my wife was to put to bed, that was the most scary part of this most scary day of my life. She was lying in front of me on the bed. She was crying and shouting. Many times I would run downstairs to call on the doctor, and the doctor would say, "Oh God, calm down." She never did. She And deep down, I was scared. She was crying. She was uncomfortable.
And you couldn't do anything.
I couldn't do anything.
I can imagine.
I wish there was something I could do to justify, because the pain was excruciating. I could see it all over. And the doctor said, "Okay, you never did. If you reach, we go no." And honestly, I would just say we should have the conversation before time, so that we don't get to that situation and start saying rubbish.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, in as much as I agree with both of you, I still do not feel it's right for for us to decide the life or death of another human. For me, it doesn't make sense, because that is what is going on with this woman now. Because her husband has refused to sign, the hospital would not do anything about it. So it's more like saying a life is in the man's hand, and no human has any right on another human's life. So I would say hospitals should they should not do the whole signatory thingy. It should be a policy that, okay, in this hospital, if there is a complication,
like this is what
we are going to carry it out. Do you consent?
That's also another angle.
Yes or no? Not waiting for one man or one auntie or somebody to now sign. Because what if something happens to her? So in as much as I agree, like you said, her husband is a cover. But in this case, it's not covering nothing. The cover no fits. The cover is not covering.
It's covering the under.
All right, so let's take our question. I wanted to pretend like I didn't hear that. I didn't. Oh my goodness. So let's move to the question for this week. Let me move my glasses for this one.
Yay. That means it's serious.
It's serious.
It's actually not serious. So I'm sure we have actually come across, if not one or more videos of people on TikTok, most especially, coming to say, "May government ban them." Government ban them. So let me ask you, Nigerians, what do you think the government should ban? Now, don't forget that the government came out last week to say they ban ritual killings, fraud on Nollywood movies. Now, what do you think the government should ban? Please let's know your opinion on the comment section. And next week, myself, Blessed, and Uche would actually, take them one after the other. And we are also going on the streets to hear from people what they would like the government to ban. Government.
I wish I can give my 2 cents, but hey, it's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
Monday.
Yes, Uche,
thank you so much, Debbie.
You're welcome.
For bringing us the juicy gist, as it is. Like Blessed said, if it's not from Debbie, we don't
it's fake news. All people are fake.
All right, then this is where we try to cut to today's edition of iBrand Daybreak. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We'll return tomorrow with we'll return on Friday with another edition, excuse me. Until Friday, you stay safe, be a good Nigerian. My name is Uche Zoe.
And I'm blessed. I'm a nose. To my adorable daughter, happy Children's Day. And to all the amazing children all over the world, happy Children's Day to you all.
And
it's your day, enjoy it.
Let me say my name now. I told this I'm Blessed. And I'm Deborah Eze. Happy Children's Day again.
But it's only your wishing happy Children's Day. You cannot wish me happy Children's Day.
I'm seeing grown adults here, so I pass.
I am my mother's child.
All right, viewers. Bye for now.
Bye. I don't know what to think now.